Hi, everybody. Happy October. A crazy fall already this weekend. Was the first weekend of fall. It was an absolutely stunning weekend. And I love this time of year. There's a great turnover in not just the leaves and the colors and everything happening outside, but it's also that change in temperature and it's harvest season. So it's a representation that all of our hard work is hopefully paying off as we come to a close towards the end of the year. I pulled a bunch of cards for you today, and there's quite a few of them, so I want to get to it. First, I just want to say thank you for watching, for always listening, commenting. You know, we had a little bit of a discussion based on Daniela's card reading last month, just about appreciation. And, we know that you guys love coming out and listening to these card readings. We are more than happy to do them for you. And we're going to keep doing them, but it's always great when we hear that feedback that it either resonated or that there was something special about this month's card reading that really hit home. It just helps us understand that there is a greater purpose to what we're doing and why we're doing it. So thank you so much. If you're new to our channel, Daniela and I, my sister, we're sister mediums. We do card readings for you every month. We flip flop and we harness the energy of our guides, our ascended masters, our angels, and those in spirit who help us along the way to really just move forward in asking what guidance it is that you need, what wisdom we can provide for you. Maybe it's clarity with a situation you're going through. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. The first set of cards is they're having to do with business, okay? And the interesting thing is I put it out there to the universe that I wanted to focus on a little bit of business, a little bit of family, a little bit of, career, personal life, romance, and that sort of thing. So the first ones that I pulled for you here, there are a bunch of them. This is business and risk. So anybody that's been asking about a new business venture or whether or not you should take this business venture, the message really comes up here that there's really no reward without taking a risk. It's really up to you to weigh out what the pros and the cons are and how much you're willing to risk to have that financial freedom, if you want to call it, or that successful business, or to flourish that new business idea. I'm getting in this card, there's a partnership here and it's done in love. I went to my Archangel Michael deck and asked for reassurance on this. The card that came out, and this is a beautiful deck. I know you guys have seen me use this. I usually close with this every month, but this deck is absolutely incredible for anybody who's looking for clarification through prayer, okay? I know it's hard to keep the faith when we're trying to make certain decisions that affect us, on a personal level especially, but the card that I pulled here, and this is really important, the person that you're asking about is trustworthy. So if you're that person listening now and you're starting a business venture or you're looking at going out on your own or creating something new, the prayer for you would be, thank you for helping me have faith so that I can open my heart wider within my relationships. I'm grateful for your protection, ensuring that only trustworthy people are in my life, okay? So unless there's a reason to not trust the person that you're thinking of inviting into your life here, especially when it comes to business, just go for it. Again, no risk, no reward without risk, and now might be the perfect time to try something new. Okay, I know you'd be taking the plunge there. That's what this card is all about, and really just holding hands with that other person. Again, it's that partnership. There has to be trust within the partnership in order to move forward and have that successful business. Okay. The next set of cards, and again, I love this deck. This one's called Ask Your Guides by Sonia Choquette. The next set of cards I pulled here were about loss. And this one's really, it hit home a little bit. If you saw the story I put out the other day, as well as the prayer requests that have been coming in, Daniela and I have been really heeding to the call of wanting to help people. A lot more prayer requests coming in for those who are going through loss and trauma, and whether it be physical loss, emotional loss, loss with loved ones that have since passed some time ago but are still struggling with that. Okay, there are helping hands here. Don't ignore your circle of people. They're here to help you. There's constantly this chat with clients about them feeling that they need to be strong, and this came up like 3 times this week for me, where my clients looked at me and said, but I'm the strong one, I have to be strong, people lean on me. And you know what, I get that. I'm strong too, and we all have that drive to want to take care of others. But at the same time, you have to be able to honor when you're not having a good day, or when you just want to say to someone, you know what, I've had a loss, I don't feel well, or I need someone to take care of me for a change, if that makes sense. Okay. The second card that I pulled from the same deck was unconditional love, and the Divine Mother. So a reminder to you that you are loved unconditionally. I couldn't help but get a download here that this was also a message, not just to um, the mother who lost her 2-year-old daughter this week. We talked about her in our stories and in our prayers, but to anyone who's lost a child, anybody who's going through miscarriage, or really at any age, the loss of a child. Okay, knowing that there is this unconditional love, protected, divine, feminine energy, okay, that accompanies you. Again, wanting to pull a prayer, and this one I intentionally pulled this card because it's come up many times in my readings, and it's just such a beautiful one. So it's a reminder to all of you, okay, your children are being watched over by angels, and this beautiful prayer is: dear guardian angels of my children, both born and unborn, thank you for watching over my children and ensuring their happiness and safety. Please guide me so that I know the best ways to be a good parent and a role model for my own and other people's children. And I just love the imagery in the card. Of course, you have Archangel Michael here with this young child and the innocence of her. And she's got this teddy bear, and there's just this, again, divine protection. Okay. So I want all those mamas out there and those dads and family members who've lost children and young ones, both born and unborn, on the other side, that they are divinely being protected, and to not cover up that loss. Okay, take help when and where you can get it. This next set of cards is a little bit heavy, and there's some work to be done here. Okay, so this is all about the male energy in your life: father, husband, brother, and son. A lot of work here, a lot of repair, some damage. There's some downloads coming in about abuse, whether it be physical or alcoholic. It might also just be verbiage and the way that you're being spoken to, or the way you have been spoken to in the past, even coming from childhood. And, verbal abuse is just as bad, because it plays on our self-worth and on our love. But definitely the need to either come to terms with or do some work here when it comes to broken relationships and being hurt and lack of trust, and just feeling very much alone when it comes to the relationships with men in your life. It might even be in the present and have nothing to do with your past. So if you're that person who's going through something with a sibling, a parent, or even with your husband, you get on that same page, tap on that throat chakra. I haven't said that in a long time, but tapping on that throat chakra allows you to speak with fluidity, to get the words out that you need to get out. Again, oftentimes, especially women, feel that they can't speak or voice exactly what it is that they want to. They can't articulate it the right way. And so we bury it. We're strong. We cover up. We don't really show our emotions or what's going on, pick our battles per se. But when this card comes up within readings, I feel like it's time for us to acknowledge, what exactly is being done here, or what has been done here. Bring all of these feelings and emotions and traumas to the surface. And following that is the energy healing component of this. This is all internal. This is us. Okay. I've explained this before, but it's been a long time. I want to say at least 6 months since I've talked about the actual chakras in the body. And the energy healing is all about you harnessing your internal energies, healing yourself using different modalities and not just your standard prescriptions or medicines, but again, the energy of the sun, the moon, Mother Earth, your own internal energy, the heart chakra, especially opening up and expanding it to everything around you. And so I'm going to give you a quick little walk about what happens when we block our chakras, okay, or when things happen to us. So you've got your crown chakra at the top, and what happens there is you've got an incident, a traumatic event, something happens to you that gets pushed down into your third eye, where you begin and start to analyze things. And in a lot of cases, we overanalyze. That gets pushed down into your throat chakra, where we tend to bottle our emotions up. And that's where we feel like we want to say something, but we don't want to compromise what's happening with our own emotions. We also don't want to compromise the relationship with someone. So we don't say anything, we internalize it. That gets pushed into the heart chakra. Once it hits your heart chakra, it starts to take a play on your emotions and the way that you feel about people, and also your own self, the way you feel internally about things. So that starts to block the relationships, okay? That gets pushed down into the solar plexus. The solar plexus chakra is the energy center of your internal energy. It's the essence of who you are, essentially, okay? It's your inner warrior, it's your fight or flight. And so what happens there is once it goes from the heart to the stomach, we start to get those pangs, those feelings of insecurity and stress and anxiety and that feeling of being overwhelmed and like, oh, I want to barf, okay? And so what happens there is that gets suppressed even more. It falls into the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is all about your relationships, your sexuality, your DNA, the way that you interact with people. And so what's happening in the sacral chakra is, pardon my French, but you're kind of like, get the fuck away from me, everybody. You put up these borders and these boundaries, and you kind of need that solace. You need that alone time. That then gets pushed into your root chakra. And the best way to explain the root chakra is think of, a great old oak tree and those roots of the oak tree being strong and stable. If you're wavering within your other chakras, your root is not as strong and as stable as it should be. Your root is responsible for all grounding, all security, all safety. And so you start to feel off balance, and that's where we get off of alignment, okay? Meditation is a great way to begin to harness this energy. I'm sure you can find very quickly like a 5 or 10 minute chakra clearing energy on YouTube meditation. There's your Reiki, which Daniela and I both do. We've been doing an abundance of Reiki lately. Daniela and I both incorporate a lot of crystal work and smudging and other things within the Reiki. It's not just your standard Reiki. Anybody who's had a Reiki session, comment below, let people know how you feel about it and what the outcome's been for you. But the energy healing here is huge in order for you to repair what's going on within these male relationships, okay? The next set of cards that I pulled, and these ones are, again, going deep. This one is specifically about romance. We have this new deck in studio that we like to use. It's a romance deck. It's all about love. And the first card that's coming through here is the reflection card. Okay, this card has you looking at all angles of your relationship. For me, myself, when I look at this card, I think of shamanic work, and I think of south, west, north, and east, your past, your fears, your present journey, and your destiny. And this card coincides with you really taking a deeper look and analyzing your relationship, the pros, the cons, over the years, how you've supported each other, how you've either grown closer together or you've grown apart, okay? The card that goes along with this, there's actually two. The first one is, again, we're talking about that worth, that self-worth, worth within the relationship, and a give and take through mutual respect, okay? So I'm just going to give you an example, but let's say, the female takes care of all the things on the inside of the house. The male might say, okay, well, I'm taking care of the things on the outside of the house. It doesn't diminish that what you do is any more or less, or what he does is any more or less, or vice versa with your partners. However, if you start to have to question, well, I do more than him, and I'm holding on to this resentment, and I'm not feeling great about it. And then all of a sudden, that chakra kicks in the sacral, where it's like, stay away from me. All of a sudden, that starts to affect your feelings, your relationship, your intimacy, the way that you are transparent or not transparent with each other. Okay, so all of this comes into play this tigress is sitting here just very calm and very collected. And that's what we all should be doing, is analyzing our self-worth, what we bring to the table, not just within our relationships with our partners or our family members, but just for ourselves, okay? You have to fall in love with yourself first before people can fall in love with you. You have to love yourself. So I'm not saying go out there and put yourself up on a pedestal by any means, but don't kick yourself when you're down either, okay? Give yourself a pat on the back for all of the work that you do. Go out there and spoil yourself. If we're talking about the specific relationship component of it, the reflection has you looking at your lack of worth within the relationship or how you're made to feel, okay? There's also this card that comes along with it. This one's the Freedom card. It's come up a lot in my oracle card readings in person with my clients lately. And this again has to do with that fight or flight, but it's also a feeling of being stuck. Okay. The commitment, the bond. Okay. If you look at the imagery in the card here, the elastics around the hand, they represent that bond, but they also represent being bound. Okay. The bird represents freedom and wanting to take flight. And you just wanting this. So I'm just going to put it out there for anybody who is in a relationship where you've been contemplating, do I stay or do I go? This is a great time for you to be asking yourself, what is it that you're staying for? Is this relationship worthy of working it out? Are you going to feel honored? Are you going to reciprocate feelings with each other within the relationship? Or are you the only one doing the self-reflection and again, feel very much alone? And that's where this card comes back into play. Okay. So I've asked what needs to be done moving forward. And this is another beautiful deck that I like to use. It's just a Archangel deck, okay, all together. And what came out here was Archangel Raphael and Archangel Gabriel, the first card, okay, breathe. Another form of technique. Imagine yourself just sitting in a beautiful state of mind, white light seeping in through that crown chakra or golden light even, and imagine the green velvet cloak of Archangel Raphael covering you in a protective, almost like a womb, okay? Like a cocoon. Cover yourself in that green protective energy and just ask Archangel Raphael to help you. The card says, take several deep breaths, exhale slowly to awaken your energy and start to begin releasing old patterns. So this might also be a message that if you're that person who falls back constantly, let's have a conversation, let's forgive each other, and then we fall back into our old ways. A good time to reflect on that, and what that brings to you, okay, and how that kind of leaves you coming back again. So that boomerang, it gets better, and then all of a sudden it comes right back to you. Okay, with the Archangel Raphael, and I'm not surprised. Archangel Raphael and Archangel Gabriel kind of go hand in hand for me, or at least I look at it like that, because Archangel Gabriel is the archangel of taking care of yourself and about nurturing yourself, but also wisdom and where you're going and wants the best for you in life. And so the card here is nurture yourself. Nurture yourself as though you were a child. Enjoy different activities right now. Take the time to be selfish and say, I need time alone, or I need time to discover the things that I used to love that I've put on the back burner, okay? And just as though you were holding a child and everybody coming and taking care of that child, imagine all of that love seeping back into yourself, okay? I usually end with a prayer card, but rather than doing that, I wanted to go back to my Divine Abundance deck. It's a brand new deck that we've been using. I'm absolutely in love with the imagery. I talked about this last month too. And the card that I pulled is the Right Now card. This is a massive reminder to everybody to not focus so much on the past and not focus so much on the future, but try to be present right now. There is a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety going on in the world, especially due to this ongoing pandemic and the restrictions and the parameters put around it. And I think that there needs to be a level of respect when it comes to people's decisions, pro, con, for, not for, whatever the case may be, but not focusing so much on the future, but just trying to be present right now. Be present with yourself, with your friends, with your family, with your career, and nurturing yourself, okay? Not thinking too far ahead. And I think that this is where a lot of the anxiety and stress is coming into play, is people worrying about what's going to happen. And this is just a reminder, take a deep breath, take things one day at a time, and really just focus on ourselves and our healing and being the best possible version of ourselves that we can be. We're coming to the close of another year, and I think that we've made some gains within the year, and hopefully we just keep continuing to push forward with that. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen. I feel like that was a little bit heavy this month as far as the conversations, or the conversations that might need to be had, but again, it's all for your self growth. It's all for yourself, your self expansion, your aura, your presence, and accomplishing your soul's mission. So get out there and do it. Follow the advice of all of these cards, and just remember that you're not going at it alone. Okay, Daniela will be back here next month in November, and then I'll be back to close off 2021 before we move into a new year. So with that, thank you very much. Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's my absolute favorite time of year, favorite holiday too to host, and something special. I have my son's confirmation on that day as well, so a great time to just gather and be with family and remind our loved ones how much we love them and appreciate them, just like I love and appreciate you. Blessings on blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.